This is not a kid-friendly show.
Yo, what is really good, my dudes? Welcome to another RuneFest 2017 coverage video. So for this video, we're going to be talking about the new boss that's coming out with the Lost Grove. It's not going to come out at the same time as the Slayer creatures and the Grove itself. It's going to come a little later, but we do have a new boss named Solak in the near future. This is going to be a new group boss aimed at around groups of 7 players. It's going to be the hardest boss to date and require raids levels of teamwork and coordination. Not only that, it's going to have a very different approach to boss fighting in the sense that Solak can perform things called sub-attacks rather than your standard boss fights, and it's going to really change up the vibe. After a set number of these sub-attacks, he's going to work into another phase, which will require you and your team to perform specific steps in order to stop him from growing powerful when transitioning to another phase. Now, each phase has a more narrative feel than your typical boss fight, and individual members of your group are going to be challenged alone by themselves during the fight to beat certain different obstacles at different points in the fight. So not only are you going to be working together as a group to take on this boss, at certain points in the fight, it's up to you to deal with certain obstacles put in front of you in order to progress. This is going to mean that each player has a role, handling different types of buffs, etc., that are going to stack with your own buffs and debuffs, and it's going to be less of a focus on one person tanking and the rest just bashing the hell out of this thing till it dies, which is going to lead to a more evolving team nature within this fight, making it sound extremely interesting and unique to this fight and this boss only. You'll even have to target large sections of Solak, managing multiple health bars at his arms, his legs, his body, which will become more revealed as the fight goes on. Things like weak spots that you need to target and diminish quickly so he doesn't get more powerful. There's also a special duo mode if you don't want to gather with 7 players. We don't really know much about this duo mode, but obviously duo, there's going to be 2 people working together to take him down in some form or fashion. I'm sure the drop rates or how lucrative the drops are in the duo mode will reflect the fact that it is duo and not 7-man for balancing reasons, of course. Now, just to give you a little bit of a backstory what this boss is all about. He is basically one of the anima warriors, just like Telos and Virago. This may be hinting at something more sinister in the future, because it seems like the anima of Gielinor is almost like assembling a super team of warriors to protect the world itself from threats yet to come. So yeah, we have Telos, Virago, and now Solak. And this just seems like an overlooming, more serious thing coming in the future. So he's also a guardian of Guthix, who's aimed to defend the island he's on, the Lost Grove, from people or entities that are trying to seek its power. Back in the Second Age, Saren set a group of elite elf warriors to assist in a divine task. One of them betrayed them, being consumed by Solak, and the island disappeared into a mist of time, until discovered recently by us. Over 4 ages have passed since then, and consuming the corrupt and evil elf, it has had negative effects on Solak. Your job is to split that parasite and restore Solak. So that is basically the backstory of this fight. So why do you even want to do this fight in the first place? So not to mention that it's going to be the toughest fight and most challenging PvM experience to date. It's also going to have some very unique rewards, one of which being the tier 92 dual wield crossbows, which is going to finally finish off the tier 92 dual wield sets. Now, this crossbow is going to have its own unique ammo, which is also available from the Slayer creatures that I talked about in the previous video. So you get the ammo from those creatures and the weapon from Solak. And as you would imagine, Solak does have a boss pet when it will be launched. If you're curious about the terms of like how big this boss is, like physically in the game world, the player model is about as tall as Solak's knee. So that gives you an idea of just how large this creature is. But yeah, that's pretty much all I really know at this point about Solak. Probably going to see more about it in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Anyways, more RuneFest 2017 coverage coming at you real soon, so stay tuned on the channel. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm out. Peace.